is Rebecca Witjas, and this little section is on your basic stretching exercises. So just follow along. You don't want to go fast. This is supposed to be relaxing and de-stressing and helping you to become more flexible and better range of motion. So we're going to start with my modification of what's called the box. Mine's still a trapezoid, but I've been working on it now for months. It has gotten a lot better. This is to stretch the sides of the thighs and the hips. Very important. Over time, this tends, especially in dancers, to get very tight. So in any stretch, firstly you want to do that for about 30 seconds each side, approximately. So you're going to flex, and you're going to flex, and you're going to put your knee over that foot, and your foot on top of that knee. And eventually this knee is going to be right on top of that foot. So when I started, I could barely get my feet over each other, so over the knees. Now I'm about halfway there, which is great. And you want to sit up as straight as possible. And of course, using a mat's nice. You could do this in your home. You can use regular clothing, and this is about as much space as you're going to need. So this is, I don't know, so I'd say about 30 seconds-ish. And we'll change and put the other foot on top. And that's the thing about stretching. You need to always do both sides. Same idea. Get the knee down if you can. If you can't, you're working towards it. And you're getting out towards that box shape. And again, you want to go about 30 seconds. If you have a timer, that's helpful. And that's like barely. Yeah, it's 30 seconds or more. So more would be better. So I do have a timer over there that I can take a look at, and I think we're almost there. And we're calling this the box, and this would be a nice first exercise to do to let your hips kind of de-stress and stretch. So from there, you would undo and put the soles of your feet together. And if you've ever taken ballet when you were 4 or 5, they call this the butterfly. And you're going to open up your knees, and you're trying to get your knees to go down towards the floor. So you're holding onto your ankles. You can relax the back. Hold onto your feet if you wish, and you're slowly, an easy bounce, don't like wildly bounce. And then you're going to stretch over, trying to get your nose on your toes. And it also should stretch your lower back and or your inner thighs. So you're over, over, over. You can also stretch to the right as long as you keep the opposite hip down. And to the left. Again, keeping the opposite hip down. And then return to your forward position and see if you can go any lower. And you want to keep this going again for about 30 seconds. And I'm doing these in a particular order for a reason. All right, we're getting the bigger joints and muscle groups to stretch first. So this one has 2 possibilities. I'm sure you've seen it before. You're going to sit both hips down on the floor, flat foot, bent knee if you can. If you cannot do it with a bent knee, you can straighten your leg out here. Keep the knee up, pull around and look to the back. So you're trying so that your shoulders are in line with the underneath thigh. And this is a nice, what we call paraspinal stretch. Those are the muscles that align either side of your spine. Very hard for them to get a stretch in this position. It's one of the few exercises that will do that. And when you're done with this side, what you'll do is you'll undo it and you'll stretch to the other side with the same twist. Try to sit up as tall as possible. So my chest is lifted, my knee is up, my foot is flat, and I'm twisting around to the back wall. Seconds. from here, you're going to lay your legs out to the side. You can relax your feet. You can point them if you wish, but it's really better that you relax. So you're going to take your legs out as much to the side as you possibly can. Everyone's going to be different. Some people will be way out here, in here. Relax your knees. Then you're going to start reaching forward to the floor. So in an ideal world, of course, you'd end up with your stomach on the floor. That would be great. And you're reaching far, far away from your hips. The more you breathe, the better off you'll be. The muscles will respond to that. They won't respond to you pulling them so tight that you feel pain. What you really want to feel is just a stretch, or maybe you might feel uncomfortable. That might be a result. So if I'm going to go to the right, I'm going to keep my left hip down, and I'm going to stretch my ear over to the leg. And I'm going to try and get as low to that leg as I can. And I'm going to keep going and going and going. And then I come up and over. Nice big breath. And to the other side. Keeping now this hip down, opposite hip down. And down I go as far as possible. And I stay in that position. And then I'm going to trade, and I'm going to put my nose down towards that leg. This is basically the same stretch, slightly different, not much. And then I'm going to go up and over, and again, you're going to go nose down to the other side. And finish it all out by reaching forward again. And up. So, before we go into the lunges, bring your legs together. Now, the best thing to do for stretching your hamstrings is to be lying on your back. And I know that if you've ever taken ballet, you know that that bar is the best way to stretch, but in reality, the more you can relax when you stretch, the better off you are. So standing isn't really the best position to be in. So bending the other knee that's not working, we're going to hug that thigh into the chest, and then we're going to straighten. And then we're going to do that just for a second, and then we're going to bend the thigh back into the chest. We're going to do that 3 more times. So every time you straighten, you're trying to keep your thigh in place. And then we bend again. Now, I run into the problem of it hits my thigh, my chest, so I start to go sideways, but really you just want to go as forward as you possibly can, and then you'll bend again, and then we're going to do it 1 more time, only this time we're going to stay, and we're going to breathe. Big breath. Big breath out, and you can be pointed or you can be flexed. Really relaxed is the best. A couple of good deep breaths. Good in and out. And then we're going to change feet. We're going to do the other side. So again, the thigh, you see that I don't really have to fold it down. I take your thigh into the chest, let the lower leg just be there. I'm pulling upwards, and then I straighten. And very briefly, and then I come back. And again, and then I straighten, and if you'll notice, I'm getting more stretched each time. And then I bend. And this is why I like the stretch. It really works quickly. And straighten briefly and return. And we're going to do that 1 last time, only this time we're going to stay. So we're going to stay and hold and hold and hold and hold. Keep breathing, keep holding until we come down. So then, after having done that, stretch your right leg out. You're going to bend your back knee. Remember, anything that starts to cause you real pain, you should not do. So you just skip it. You can supervise. Wind the tape forward. To get a split, if that's what you're after, start with the thigh back. Straight front knee, bent back knee. And then open it up a little bit. And then take the thigh a little bit more back. All right? Until it goes more back. And each time it goes more back until you're in a straight line. And then you're going to go over and stretch. And also arch. And then turn your hip over. And we'll do the other side. So now I'm going to bend, straighten the other leg. So I'm very folded right here. I'm going to open up the fold. I'm going to move that thigh back. I'm straightening, I'm opening, I'm straightening. So what you don't want to do is take your hips off the floor. Let that one hip be on the floor, and then just gradually over time, you're going to straighten that back leg more and more until you stretch over in whatever position you find uncomfortable but not painful. Reach. And arch to the back. And then you're done. And if you do that, that will be helpful. Now, the next one is the Cobra. You've all done that. The only thing I ask from ballet is you want to try to keep your hips on the mat. So, here I am. I'm on my stomach. I've gone up to my elbows. I've got my elbows pretty close to my torso. And now I'm going to push up to my hands and try to keep my hip bones on the floor. So I'm going to go up and up and up until I start to feel my hip bones lifting off the floor. Then I'm going to stop. And I'm going to arch back. Now, a lot of you will be able to do this with more flexibility than I can. But you're going to take it up as far as you possibly can. Breathe in that position. And then come down. And then take a breath, and then you'll go back up, and we'll try it again. Arching, head back to, hips try to stay on the mat. Squeezing your glutes and increasing the flexibility of your spine, hopefully. And of course, if you have back problems, you're not going to be doing this. Then you take a nice deep breath. Sit back on your heels. And this is child's pose, but what it does is it stretches the lower back and your thighs. So it's also a very nice stretch, very relaxing. And then you're going to rest. So we've done a lot. So let's just sit up gently in something that is comfortable for you. You can let your feet out, you can cross your legs, whatever you like. We're going to do stretches to the back, relaxing the shoulders back, and then you can take your arms and using your elbows straighten. This is good for your posture. Pulls your shoulders back, stretches your anterior deltoids, and pull up if you can. Stretching to the back. And then you're going to take your left hand over, your right hand back. Try to find those two, stretching the shoulders. Remember, the top of the body is just as important to stretch as the lower body. And then we'll do the other side as well. Grabbing that, stretching. So, very good. And release. Oh, that feels great. Now, for turnout, I'm going to go up against the wall. Turnout's very important for ballet. Lie against the wall with my back and my derriere against the wall, and now my legs are in parallel. Flex. Make sure your hips are against the wall. And now you're going to rotate. So you can see my two thighs are now opened. I'm almost against the wall, and now I'm going to take the right leg up in rotation and then slowly come down. That's to keep that rotation going all the way through the position. So parallel, rotate, rotation happening at the hip. All right, let's do the other side. So we're in parallel, rotation, squeeze, and up it goes. And we're going to bring it down. One more time. All the way up, hips against the wall, and we bring it down. Right. Now, there's only two stretches left, one for the calves. So you can go up on your elbows and push your heels down. And you can also go up to the hands and just stretch your calf muscles from the back. The idea is just, as your calf muscles in ballet are going to get a lot of work, so they need a lot of stretch. Down, heels down, heels down. And then the last one might be the most important one. Dancers forget this. It's your neck, because when you're a dancer, you're always pulling your neck up nice and long. And so you always forget that that gets it very tight. So we're going to take our hand, we're not pulling, we're just going to use the weight of it to go gently to the right. Breathing. Then we're going to take it, put it in between side and back. And again, just let the head drop, chin down. And it's the weight, it's just the weight. I'm not pulling at all. And breathing while I do it. Then I'm going to go straight front. Two hands. Breathing. And in between. And directly side. Just like when we reached the other side. You'll notice I'm not going to go back. And for your neck muscles, you probably should not. Okay? Just one side, middle, front, other middle, and directly to the other side. And we do the head last because it's the most delicate muscles, all right? So we want to be nice and warm and stretched before we do the head and neck. So thank you for joining me. And I would like you to do this one at least 4 times a week. Stretching every day is not a bad idea. All right, thanks.